You know that dream, right? The one where you decide to become a YouTuber, you post a video, the views start rolling in, and bam, so does the money. It's such a tempting idea. But today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the often unseen reality behind that dream. We'll be following one creator's super honest journey from all that hope to some pretty harsh lessons. So, let's just dive right in.
I mean, this is pretty much it, right? This is the idea that gets so many people started. I'll just share my passion and the success will just happen. It's a really powerful thought. But what happens when that amazing dream smacks right into the cold, hard numbers of reality?
And, well, this is the reality check. Our source shows us that after all the effort, the filming, the editing, everything, to get 5,000 views, this is what they actually earned. 55 rupees. That's about 65 cents in US dollars. The gap between what you think you'll make and what you actually make, it's just massive. So let's dig into why that is.
Okay, so let's really get into that gap between the YouTube dream and the much tougher reality. The first, and honestly, probably the biggest hurdle you face, it's not about not having enough talent or good ideas. Nope, it's about the simple, brutal fact that you're jumping into an ocean where everyone is trying to be seen at the exact same time.
The numbers here are just staggering. Seriously. This creator's experience shows that for every 100 videos that get uploaded, a whopping 95 of them pretty much just vanish into the digital void. They go nowhere. That means only a tiny 5%, just 5 out of 100, actually manage to get enough traction to be ranked by the system and shown to more people.
And this, right here, just perfectly illustrates the core challenge. It doesn't matter what your passion is, cooking, gaming, tech reviews, you name it. You're not just creating in a quiet space. You're walking into a stadium where thousands, maybe tens of thousands of videos on your exact topic already exist. Trying to stand out is a monumental task.
Okay, so let's say you do it. You become one of the lucky few who actually breaks through all that noise. What does that really mean for your bank account? Let's take a closer look at the financial side of getting all those views.
These numbers come straight from our creator's own experience. We already saw the 65 cents from 5,000 views, but check this out. Even at a huge milestone like 500,000 views, we're talking about maybe $30. It becomes so clear, so fast, that ad revenue by itself is just not going to pay the bills.
And just to make it a little tougher, that small bit of revenue you do generate gets even smaller. Before a single cent even gets to the creator, the platform takes its cut, a full 45%. So you're out there fighting for every single view only to keep just a little over half of what your video actually earns from ads.
So the main takeaway here is crystal clear, isn't it? For anyone starting out, thinking of YouTube ad revenue as your main source of income is just a recipe for disappointment. The creators who actually make it have to build other income streams, because this one, it's a very, very slow trickle in the beginning.
But you know, the pressure isn't just about money. Oh no. There's this other invisible force that pretty much dictates a creator's life, the algorithm, and it has one single, totally unforgiving demand. You have to be consistent. And every single creator, sooner or later, runs into this problem. Life happens. You just can't be a content-making machine 24/7. So what happens when you miss just one weekly upload? What's the damage? The consequences are, well, they're brutal. This creator went from getting over 25,000 impressions on their videos to just 2,000 after taking one short break. That's a 90% drop. The algorithm doesn't just like consistency, it actively punishes you when you break the pattern. It's harsh. And the thing is, the algorithm has no way of understanding why you needed that break. It doesn't care about family emergencies, or if you're struggling with your mental health, or just plain old creative burnout. All it sees is that you stopped posting, and it can completely stall a channel's momentum in an instant. So, let's recap. The money is tiny, the competition is insane, and this unforgiving algorithm demands constant work. It really makes you wonder, why on earth would anyone do this? Well, the answer isn't in the metrics. It's in the real reward of just creating.
First up, let's talk about feedback. On any given video, the huge majority of comments are usually super supportive, really encouraging, and just generally positive. For the most part, your audience is actually on your side. But even when you have 99% positivity, our brains, they're just wired differently. We're built to look for the threat, right? So our focus naturally gets pulled to that tiny, tiny fraction of negativity.
Yep, it's that one negative comment.
The source really drives this home, talking about how a single nasty remark can totally overshadow 100 positive ones. It can just consume a creator's thoughts and make them question all their hard work.
And this is exactly why the true reward can't come from what other people think. It's just too fragile. The real, lasting joy has to come from the process. That feeling of pride when you finish a script, the satisfaction of a perfectly completed edit, and that pure relief and confidence you get from making something you're proud of. That's the stuff that lasts.
Once you realize that, it leads to this huge shift in your mindset. To survive and actually thrive, you have to change what you're running after. And this brings us to the final, and maybe most important idea of this whole journey. You have to chase excellence.
Our source even shares a personal story about this. They had a channel that from the outside looked really successful. It gained subscribers super fast because it was chasing trends. But when the time came to post real, long-form content they cared about, the audience just wasn't there. The foundation was built on empty numbers, and the whole thing just collapsed.
This piece of wisdom pretty much changed everything for the creator, and it perfectly explains the lesson from that failed channel. The goal can't just be success, the views, the subscribers. The goal has to be excellence. Just focus on your craft. Focus on making the absolute best thing you can make.
And this is a final, kind of sobering thought to keep in your back pocket. The beginning of this journey is not a level playing field. Small creators often pour in 10 times the effort, all the research, learning new skills, the editing, for results that are just a tiny fraction of what bigger channels get. The grind is very, very real.
Which leaves all of us with this one essential question for anyone thinking about starting this journey. What are you actually building here? Is it a channel based on the fleeting validation of success metrics, or are you building a foundation of skill, passion, and true excellence that can actually last? Honestly, the answer to that question will define your entire journey.